everyone, it's Karen from the Geordie Grandma. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the 10-week summer body challenge in collaboration with the Transatlantic Housewives of YouTube, which include myself, Busy Bee Marie, Maria Crocker and Tina's Talk Time. And if you didn't watch last week's video, which was the introduction to the summer body challenge, all four of us are over 50. We're all going to be doing a 10-week summer body challenge where we each do the same kind of video each week but put our own spin on it. We're all following a different kind of, I'm not going to say diet, I'm going to say healthy eating plan. So if you haven't seen last week's video, go and watch it. I'll link it below and you can see what we're talking about. If you did watch last week, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I decided to start a low carb / keto diet, mainly to get my type 2 diabetes under control, and if I lose weight, that is a bonus. So how did I do this week? Well, I will show you my weigh-in later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. How did I do? I did fine. I can honestly say I haven't really felt hungry most of the time, and I haven't really craved anything that wasn't included in my healthy eating plan, in my low carb plan. So that was good. What I have found was I've had what I would call probably trapped wind all week. I feel a bit bloated, but I think that's because I'm eating a lot more vegetables and a lot more salad than I was before, so maybe that's to be expected. So we'll see how that pans out over the next few days. I'll let you know if I'm still having problems or if I've got over it. So what did I do to make things go smoothly to help us with the week? I have done low carb before, so I kind of knew what I was going to be eating. But I thought this time what I would do is I would make myself a menu plan for the week, just a loose menu plan. I didn't want it to be rigid, but I wanted to, when I went to the supermarket to do the shopping, I wanted to know exactly what I was going to get, because how many times you go to the supermarket and wander around and think, oh, I don't know what I'm buying, and you put all sorts of rubbish in your trolley. So I wanted a proper list. So I did a kind of a menu plan for the week. And I used a couple of books to get some ideas from. I didn't do all my meals from these books. I did a few of them, and I'll show you them, what I made, and I'll tell you what they were. So the first book I've used is the Fast 800 Keto book by Dr. Michael Mosley, which I'm actually listening to on audiobook rather than reading it, but the recipes are in the book. So I already had the book, so I thought I would use some recipes from there. And I also used a recipe from the Vegetarian Low Carb Diet by Elliott. If you are vegetarian, that is a handy book. So I used those two. I'm not vegetarian, I do eat fish, but it's good to use, you know, books and use the internet to find some recipes that can help you along. I planned the meals, I wrote the shopping list, and now I'm going to show you exactly what I bought at the supermarket. Okay, we've got a couple of packets of rocket and baby leaf salad. I've got some radishes. I've got a pack of 3 peppers. I think I'm going to need more peppers actually, because one of the recipes has all 3 peppers in it, so I should get in 2 packets. I've got a pack of close cut white mushrooms. I've noticed that the mushrooms in Aldi are a lot nicer than the mushrooms in Sainsbury's. I'm not sure why actually, but they are definitely a lot nicer. Got a pack of celery. I've got a dozen organic eggs. You eat a lot of eggs on low carb. I've got some apples. We've got some 2 packs of full fat soft cheese. When you're low carb, you don't eat anything that's low fat. Everything's full fat, and most of the things are good fats. There is good fats and bad fats, and these are good fats, are like avocados and coconut oil and olive oil and things like that. They're good fats. So we eat a lot of those on a low carb keto diet. As we do cream, this is a tub of double cream. Cheese, got some blue Stilton, I picked up some halloumi, I've got some grated mozzarella. Just if you didn't already know, I don't actually eat meat. I'm not fully vegetarian because I do eat fish, but I don't eat meat. So all of the recipes and things that I'll be making, all of the food I'll be making won't include meat, but you could include meat in them. You know, it's not just, oh, you definitely couldn't have meat with this. Some of them you definitely could have meat with it. In fact, Warren, my husband, isn't vegetarian. He does eat meat. So a lot of the things, he'll just put meat in his portion. I got some Greek style natural yogurt. Had to get these from Sainsbury's because they didn't have them in small tubs or I couldn't see them in small tubs in Aldi. And I find if I buy the big pots, I usually end up putting them in the bin, or some of it in the bin. So I thought the little pots might be a little bit more expensive, but it's probably better for us. The Greek style natural yogurt is better than ordinary natural yogurt because the Greek style has got twice the amount of protein in it apparently. And when you're on a low carb diet, you do eat a lot of protein. I think the recommendation is that women eat 70 to 80 grams of protein a day. So there's a lot of protein in it. I got a packet of walnut halves and some cashew nuts. Aldi's brilliant for things like this, for nuts and seeds and stuff like that. Having said that, I did get this next item in Sainsbury's because I couldn't find it in Aldi. I've got some cold milled flaxseed. Now this is instead of something that's called psyllium husk. Now I'm not sure where you get that. I couldn't find it anywhere, but I did Google it and it said that if you couldn't find the psyllium husk, then ground flaxseed was the next best thing. So we'll try some of that with one of the recipes that we're doing. I've also got 2 packets of ground almonds. We use a lot of ground almonds in low carb keto cooking because you're using it instead of flour, really. I got some apple cider vinegar, which one of the recipes asks for. Got a tub of coconut oil. I've been using coconut oil for a long time, even when I wasn't on low carb. I just find it's got a nicer taste than the olive oil. Got some tomato puree, a jar of crushed chilies. The skinny maple syrup, which has got no carbs in it, is for like cereals and things. I mean low carb cereals, not ordinary cereals, but we'll get to that through the week as I'm showing you what I'm eating. I got that B&M. Some baking powder. I'll just move round. I'm leaning over chairs here and it's not easy. 2 packets of these Callo Belgian dark chocolate rice cake minis. There's 4 snack packs in there. Now these do have carbs in them. There is 13 grams of carbs in 1 pack, but you do get 6 little mini chocolate rice cakes in each pack, and there's 4 packs in there. You've got to have something sweet, you know. You can't cut out everything. So just as a rule of thumb, low carb means you're eating under 130 carbs a day, and if you're keto, you're usually eating maybe around 30 grams of carbs a day. So keto is really, really low carb. When I have done it in the past, I've probably been down as low as 50 or 60 quite easily, but I'm not planning on going full keto, so under 130 grams of carbs is quite decent. Like I said, I don't eat meat, but this Richmond meat-free streaky bacon rashers is the next best thing to me eating proper bacon. It isn't bacon, but it does have like a bacony taste, and it's one of the best ones that I find that's on the market at the moment. I had to get that from Sainsbury's because they don't sell it in Aldi. Some Richmond's no beef meatballs. Again, I had to get them in Sainsbury's because they don't sell them in Aldi, for a recipe that I'm going to be making. And lastly, some 2 white cod fillets. which is for an interesting meal recipe that I found that looks really nice. So I've got those. So if you want to see what I'm making with all this stuff that I've bought, keep watching and I'll be showing you what I'm eating. So that was my shopping. I was very good when I went around the supermarket. I wasn't putting random things in the trolley. I just bought exactly what was on my list. Maybe a couple of little extras, but they weren't off plan. So what did I eat? I feel like I say so before every sentence, but I don't know how else to get into the sentence without saying so. Any tips? Leave them below. What did I eat this week? I'm going to share a few things with you, because last week I had a few comments saying, you know, can you share some low carb meals with us? So I will do that. So I'll talk about breakfast first. And because it was close to the weekend, when I started this, I wanted to have something a little bit more substantial on a Saturday or a Sunday. So this was a recipe that I picked out of the Fast 800 Keto book, and it was keto pancakes with berries and yogurt. I'll put a picture here so you can see what it looked like. Now you'll think, how are you eating pancakes on a keto low carb diet? Well, I shall tell you. I'll just read you the ingredients that were in the recipe. It's got ground almonds, cream cheese, eggs, vanilla extract, butter. You could put any kind of berries in it, and full fat Greek yogurt. I think I say on the video where I was doing the shopping that Greek yogurt has got a lot of protein in it, more protein in it than ordinary yogurt, so that's good for you, because when you're doing low carb, you need to have a good amount of protein. So those pancakes were really delicious. I really enjoyed those. They're only small, but you can have 3, and you could make up a batch and keep them in the fridge for a couple of days, or maybe freeze them. So, you know, you could have them through the week as well as a quick breakfast if you wanted to. But I do highly recommend those. They were really nice. Other breakfasts I've had this week, I've had bacon and eggs. Not proper bacon, obviously, because I don't eat meat. But I eat the Richmond meat-free streaky bacon rashers. It's not bacon, but it gives you that bacon flavour. So I've had some bacon and eggs, scrambled eggs. I've also had cereal, and I eat it's called a paleo cereal that I get from Sainsbury's. I'll put a picture in here. I should have had the box here, but I forgot to get it. So I'll put a picture in here. And it's low in carbs and it's high in protein. It's a little bit like a muesli. And I add some berries to that, strawberries, blueberries, and you can either have it with the Greek yogurt or have it with some almond milk. So for lunches, I'll go through a few lunches. Again, because I'm working full time at the moment, I've been taking a packed lunch to work, it's a lot easier actually when you're at work than it is on a weekend. So weekends have been a little bit, well, I wouldn't say looser, because we have been eating well. Warren's doing this with me as well, and he's actually lost more weight than I have this week. But yeah, so for lunches at the weekend, we had a Waldorf salad, which I got the idea from the Fast 800 Keto book. I mean, I know what a Waldorf salad is, but, you know, it gave you a nice dressing. Again, I'll put a picture in. I think the dressing was mayonnaise and, I want to say yogurt and mayonnaise and some lemon juice. So I had a Waldorf salad, and it said in the book to add chicken. We didn't have any chicken in. I don't eat chicken anyway. So Warren had his with proper bacon, and I had mine with some vegetarian bacon, and they were really good salads. Took me ages to eat. That's why I don't usually make salads, because I find them such a faff to eat. They take forever to eat, but they were nice, and they do make you feel full. So I had a Waldorf salad. The things I've been taking for lunch, I've been making up a packed lunch box of one day. I had some tinned tuna with hard-boiled egg, some edamame beans, which I find surprisingly nice, really nice and full of protein, with some salad. And I also been taking a pot of, not every day, but a couple of days, I took a pot of strawberries, blueberries, and some yogurt on the top. And it makes a really filling packed lunch, that. in hindsight, I think having the tuna, the hard-boiled egg and the edamame beans was too much protein. I think maybe that's partly what's given me stomach issues as well, because I've had too much protein. So I think the next time I have that, I'll either cut out the tuna, or I'll cut out the, well, I probably wouldn't cut out the tuna, I'd cut out the egg, or I'd cut out the beans, so just have one of them rather than having all of them. I've also taken some brie with some Aldi crackers, and I'll put a picture of them here. Again, I should have had them here, but I forgot to get them. I'm doing this video after I've come in from work on Thursday night, and it's 25 to 7, so I haven't had my tea yet, so I've forgotten things, so I apologise. So yes, I've had some brie, and these Aldi crackers are only 3 carbs in each cracker, and I think they're only 23 calories in each cracker as well, so they were really good, quite low carb for crackers. They taste a little bit like Ritz crackers. So I took 4 of them with some brie, 50 grams of brie. I took a hard-boiled egg. I put a little bit of salad in the box. I also take a little tub of mixed nuts, not salted ones, just plain mixed nuts to work. 25 grams, a good source of protein again. And if if I was feeling hungry through the day, I would just, pick on the mixed nuts, which is good. I also took, there was one day I took a pack of the Calo rice cakes, the chocolate rice cakes. I only took those one day because I felt quite full after eating all of that. So I'm keeping the Calo rice cakes for a night time when I come in with a cup of coffee. But they were really good. For dinners, I've tried a few different dinners this week. So I've had, out of the vegetarian low carb diet book, I had the creamy mushrooms with the courgette ribbons. Now, one tip, if you make that, dry off your courgette ribbons before you put them on the plate, because what I found was the water from the courgettes, I didn't rinse them, drain them enough, and the water mixed with the cream and it went a little bit watery. I have had it before where I did dry them off and it was really, really nice. So I highly recommend that. That was nice. I've had salmon, just plain salmon with some fried mushrooms and olive oil and some crispy kale, which I did in the air fryer. Put a tiny little bit of oil on and kind of rubbed it in the kale and put some Himalayan salt on it as well. It was quite nice. There was one night we had meatballs in a tomato and pepper sauce, another recipe I got from the Fast 800 Keto book. The meatballs were obviously Richmond meatballs, which are no meat meatballs. Tomato and pepper sauce is quite filling, so again that meal was really nice. I enjoyed that. And another night I actually eventually cooked some tofu. I've tried to eat tofu before and I've never been very keen, and I think it's been the way it's been cooked. It's not like crispy on the outside, and I found the centre of it was a little bit spongy. So this time I cooked it in the air fryer and it did work a lot better, and I actually quite enjoyed my tea. So again, I put the photo here. I had tofu with cauliflower rice, which is the first time I've had cauliflower rice, and I was quite surprised that I liked it. It doesn't really taste of cauliflower. It's just, if you have something like chili and you usually would have rice with it, the cauliflower rice would be a nice substitute. I'm probably a bit late to the party with the cauliflower rice, because it's been around for a long time, but that's the first time I've had it. And I had the tofu and the cauliflower rice with some fried mushrooms and peppers and some coconut oil. And that was really nice. Now, but what I did was I put on a drizzle of a jar of sweet teriyaki sauce that I've got. And I found that it's got a lot of carbs in it, the teriyaki sauce. So I probably shouldn't have had it, but I only had a drizzle. But I may have to find an alternative for that, but it was very tasty. So those were the meals I had this week. And what I've done was, every day I've wrote everything down that I've ate. I wouldn't do this long term, I'll only do it, I did it the last time I did low carb, and I do this for the first couple of weeks so I can just get into my head what meals that I enjoy and how many carbs and protein are in it. And then I don't have to worry too much about writing everything down going forward. I can just say, yeah, I like that, and I'll have that again. So I've been sticking to around, I'd say, because I've been writing down the calories, the protein, and the carbs in everything I eat. And I've been sticking to around 1,400 calories a day. Some days I've been a little bit less, some days I've been slightly more, not much more. Protein, I've been around the 60 grams of protein mark. Carbs, I'm trying to keep under 130. And if I'm honest, I've never actually gone over 70 carbs a day. I've really stuck to, not deliberately, it's just that's the way it's worked out with what I've been eating. I have stuck to around 60, 70. I would say I had never gone over 70 grams of carbs for the day, but you can go up to 130 if you're just doing low carb. If you're doing keto, you really need to be under 50, which is very low. And maybe something you would go for, you know, a couple of months down the line when you've got used to it all, because it is quite a learning curve, keto, which is why I've started with low carb, because it's easier. So that was my food. Now, the routines, because this week is all about routines, and I find that if you have a good morning routine, it sets you up for the rest of the day, and you know, you can get a good start on everything, and you don't get up and you don't know what you're doing and all that. So a good morning routine that you do every day really helps. My weekend routines are slightly looser, again, than my weekday routines, but I actually prefer my weekday routines. So what is my morning routine? I usually get up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's just the way my body clock works. I go to bed fairly early and I wake up fairly early, and I have to get up. I usually have a shower, wash my hair, and then I'll like do my skincare routine, and I'll come downstairs and I'll have breakfast. We usually put the news on, not my choice, Warren's choice, because I don't like the news, but we'll put the news on. And once I've had my breakfast and had my cup of tea, make me pack lunch. So the next thing I would do is I'd go and put my makeup on. I like to put me moisturiser on and then leave it for a while before I put the makeup on. So doing it this way, having the shower, doing my skincare routine, having my breakfast, and then going to put my makeup on just works better for us. And while I'm putting my makeup on, I'll usually watch something on YouTube. I'll watch somebody's YouTube channel. Or if I can't find anything that I want to watch on YouTube, I'll listen to a podcast. I usually find the YouTube videos and the podcast quite motivating, and you know, they might make us laugh, or they might make us think, or they might, you know, inspire us, but something that kind of gets me in the right frame of mind for the rest of my day, especially when I'm going to go to work. Now, I usually walk to work, or I have been the last 3 weeks. I've been walking to work. Where I work isn't very far from my house. It only takes us 30 minutes to walk. So I decided when the weather got a little bit warmer, or doesn't feel it at the moment, that I would start walking. And instead of taking my handbag, I got myself a backpack. I'll put a picture here, and I've found that so handy, because I find especially if you're taking a packed lunch and you're carrying a bag and you're walking, it's just such a hassle, and you end up with one arm longer than the other. So I love this backpack. I can fit quite a lot into it. It looked small when I got it. I got it from Amazon. I'll link it down below. I'm not affiliated to it. I saw it and I bought it. It fits me packed lunch in. It fits me 2 sets of glasses in. Spectacles, glasses. It fits, you know, all me like bits and bobs, like my hairbrush and me deodorant and things like that. Me purse, I can fit a book in there. It fits quite a lot in there, even though it looks quite small. So I walk to work with my backpack on, and I usually listen to an audiobook on my way. So 30 minutes of an audiobook. Put my headphones in. I haven't got those posh ones that don't have wires on yet. I've just got the ones that you put in your ears and the wire comes down. So I have to stick my phone in my pocket as I'm walking. But I really enjoy listening to an audio book. I've listened to the Fast 800 Keto book as I've been walking, which is quite motivating because he has other people's, stories on who have done keto and lost weight and got the type 2 diabetes under control, which is more important for me. I've also I'm actually listening to Peter Kay's autobiography, The Sound of Laughter, which is, it's so funny. So even if it's not motivating, which it actually is in places, I was quite surprised, but it's funny, and I'm walking along, to work, and people must think, what's she doing? Because I'm like laughing out loud at it. So I've been quite enjoying that. I highly recommend that, actually. If you like Peter Kay, you'll probably like his book. So that's my morning routine, basically. Like I say, the weekend routine isn't the same because I'm not going to work. So I would still get up at about maybe 6:30. I would still do the same things, with the shower and the breakfast, then put the makeup on. But I wouldn't go for the walk straight away. I might go later in the day. Now, I wanted to include a segment each week on this 10 Weeks of My Body challenge on what I've learned, lessons I've learned throughout the week about healthy eating and exercise and things like that. And I think what I've learned is that I definitely need to plan. So I found the menu plan that I'd done, even though it was quite loose. I didn't say, I'm going to eat this day and this day. I just said, I fancy these 3 or 4 meals. And I went and did the shopping list and got it. And I found that really useful. So that was one thing I learned, that I need to plan. I definitely need to plan. I also learned that I can't just plan the meals I'm going to have for the week. I need to, the night before, make a list of what I'm going to have the next day. So I would just jot down, I'm going to have cereal for breakfast. I'm going to take salmon for my lunch. I'm going to have meatballs for my tea. So I need to get that list down, because if I get up in the morning and I think, oh, what am I going to have for my breakfast? What am I going to do for this packed lunch? I'll panic and it just go out the window. So I've learned that I need to plan. I'm a planner. And I also like lists, so that works. Don't eat the same things every day. I've learned that as well, which is probably common sense, but I think, especially when you're going on a diet, well, I think when anybody goes on a diet, they tend to find a couple of things that they like and they'll eat them constantly. And I think that makes for getting bored easily. So that's why I tried to choose 3 or 4 things, for lunch, for breakfast, for dinner, so I'm not going to get bored. So I learned that about myself. I need to eat different things. I can't just eat the same thing all the time. I also learned, don't just concentrate on the puddings and the snacks, because I've found this before when I've been on diets. I'll always concentrate on what snacks can I have, what puddings can I eat. But it's I've got to stick to this for the rest of my life, or, some looser form of it for the rest of my life, because I'm doing it for my type 2 diabetes, not just the weight loss. I can't just concentrate on eating snacks. I need to get out of the habit of wanting snacks and wanting puddings every night. And I do remember the last time I did this diet, or I'm not going to say diet, healthy eating plan. The last time I did this, I didn't crave chocolate or crisps or anything like that. So I'm hoping that's going to kick in again. But I do think when you're trying to lose weight, you do concentrate on all of the junk food that you can still have. And for me, that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try and concentrate more on nice lunches I can have, on, nice dinners I can have, and really fill the plate and make it colourful, feed the eyes first and all that, rather than concentrate on what can I have afterwards, what sweet thing can I have after it. And eat at the dining table. That's what I've learned as well, because you feel like you're having a proper meal when you sit at the dining table, rather than sitting on the settee in front of the telly, mindlessly eating, and you think, did I eat that? If you sit at the table, you concentrate more. So those are the things I've learned. Now, my weight loss. It hasn't been I thought I might have lost a little bit more, but I have lost and I didn't put on, so that's good. So here's me getting weighed. Now, I was 14 stone 12 and a quarter last week when I got weighed, and this week I am 14 stone 11 and a quarter. That in pounds, that's 207 and a quarter pounds for those American viewers who do everything in pounds. So I've lost a pound. Not brilliant, but it is a start. It's going in the right direction. And what was even better, and like I said, I'm doing this to get me type 2 diabetes under control. Last week, when I do a finger prick blood test to take me blood glucose at various times of the day, every now and again. And last week when I did it, it was 11.5. I don't know if you can hear that aeroplane going over. It was 11.5 last week, which is high. It should be between 4 and 7 when you haven't had anything to eat, and between 7 and 10, 7 and 9, 7 and 10, just after you've had something to eat. So 11.5 last week. I took it yesterday when I came in from work, so I hadn't had anything to eat since 12:30 at lunchtime, and this was 6 o'clock at night. It was 6.1. So it was, you know, between 4 and 7, 6.1 is fantastic. I was really pleased with that. So if I can keep this up, I know when I go back to the doctors in June to get my HbA1c done again, it's going to have come down, which is what we want. So that was my weight loss. I know a lot of you in the comments last week said you were going to jump on and you know, get motivated and get into the Summer Body Challenge. So if you've lost weight, let us know in the comments below. If you haven't lost weight, you can still let us know in the comments below. If you've had any problems, I'd love to hear what they are. One of my my subscribers last week left a comment, and she said mood swings are real danger zones for her, and I think they probably are for everybody. So, you know, that thing where you eat where you're happy, you eat where you're sad, you eat when you're stressed, you eat when you're bored. So how do you get over that? How do you combat that? And I came up with a few things. Some of them I do myself, some of them I've heard other people do. So I'll tell you my tips, and then I want you to give me your tips in the comments below, what you think would be a good tip to help avoid those danger zones of, I'm bored, I'm going to get a chocolate bar. Oh, I'm happy, you know, I want a bottle of Prosecco or something. So these are my tips. If you want to reach for the biscuits or the chocolate or the crisps, for any of your moods that you're in, go and have a bath. I don't think you can eat in the bath, can you? Maybe you can, but try not to. Read a book. I don't find that I eat when I'm reading. I usually hold a book with both hands like that, so I wouldn't have a hand to eat with. But if I'm watching the telly, I will eat. So if I was bored or if I was stressed out and I sat down to watch a programme, I'd want to eat some biscuits or a packet of crisps. So read a book, try that. Go for a walk. Obvious, you know, just get yourself out of the house. If you're feeling stressed, a walk is going to be 10 times better than reaching for the chocolate. It really is. If you're happy, go out and skip along, or, you know, run. That'll help your mood. Well, actually, if you're happy, that's a good mood to be in. But you don't want to celebrate with eating the wrong things. Have things in that, you know, won't take you completely off track. So there's no reason why you can't have something nice. So for me, those Callow chocolate rice cakes would be a good little snack. You know, if I was feeling stressed, you can get something called, the little packets called cheesies, and it's just little crispy pieces of cheese. I think you can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link down below if I can find it. Little crispy pieces of cheese that make a nice snack, and it's a little bit like eating crisps. Not quite, but it's a little bit like eating crisps. So just find something, you know, that won't take you completely off track. So if you do really, really, really want something, and having a bath or whatever isn't going to do it for you, just have something that you can, won't break your resolve. Because I find if I do have a bar of chocolate, I want more chocolate. Or if I have a little packet of crisps, I want another packet of crisps. So for me, it's easier just not to have them. Keep your hands busy. If you knit, pick up your knitting needles. If you like colouring in, get your colouring book and pens out. Just keep your hands busy to take your mind off eating. But I'd love to know what your tips are. Those are my tips. I'm sure there's loads more things that people can advise on for helping you get through those mood swings, so you don't break your diet. Don't break your healthy eating plan. Not your diet. I'm not going to say the diet word. So that is the video for this week, for the 10-week summer body challenge for over 50s. But if you're under 50, you can still join in. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you find it enjoyable. Next week is about working out. So I'm going to be trying some different exercise routines this week. I've got me walking, but I need to do something for the days that it rains and I can't walk. I need to be doing some other exercise. And I don't want to lose weight and have lots of saggy skin. So I want to kind of try and tone up as well. So we'll talk about that next week. I'm also going to try talking about things that you can have that won't take you completely off track. I found a great recipe for a keto chocolate cheesecake. So I'm going to make that over the weekend. I'll try and video it and I'll show you it on next week's video. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please go over and watch Busy Bee Marie, Maria Crocker and Tina's Talk Time to see how they've got on this week and see how their healthy eating plans are going. Have they lost weight? Have they not lost weight? Go and find out. I'm sure you'll get a whole load more tips. Again, I'll put all of their links down below. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. So bye for now.